Good evening, I'm Brett Baer, and this is Special Report. We begin tonight with breaking news. A Fox News exclusive. New evidence of just how seriously the Obama administration was taking the possibility of failure and embarrassment ahead of the disastrous health care rollout. Chief White House correspondent Ed Henry has been chasing this down all afternoon and has obtained some new documents. Good evening, Ed.
Good evening, Brett. Confidential documents obtained by Fox suggest that people inside the administration just 1 week before the website launch had fears that it may fail, more fears than they may have let on publicly. Top aides to President Obama were nervous healthcare.gov would be, quote, unavailable and become an embarrassment. A private email sent on September 25th by CMS official Henry Chow to government colleagues and the website's contractors was obtained by Republican Chairman Darrell Issa. It references a meeting the previous day that included Todd Park, the president's chief technology officer, and CMS chief Margaret Tavenner. Chow wrote, quote, when Todd Park and Marilyn were here yesterday, one of the things Todd conveyed was this fear the White House has about hc.gov being unavailable. Chow warned Park would be back for more answers on September 30th and wrote, quote, I think we should have a more comprehensive answer as to how we will ensure high availability on the site. While the emails show at least one top White House aide knew of the danger, President Obama suggested last week the problems were a surprise.
We would not have rolled out something knowing very well that it wasn't going to work the way it was supposed to.
In the same September 25th email, Chow also suggested officials design a more palatable way to tell the public the site is not working, attaching this image that says the system is down and telling colleagues, quote, I am picturing in my mind all the major print and online publications taking screenshots of what is below and just ramping up the hyperbole about hc.gov not being functional. That fear turned out to be prophetic, as the site is still having problems for even Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius at a photo op yesterday in Miami.
I think it's great that this is happening.
Well, it's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
The screen says, I'm sorry, your system is temporarily down.
Well, it's okay. It'll come back. You know, that happens every day.
Today, the president awarded the Medal of Freedom to former President Bill Clinton, who recently urged Mr. Obama to fulfill his promise of letting people keep their health plan if they like it.
I'm grateful, Bill, as well, for the advice and counsel that you've offered me on and off the golf course.
While the humor may have diffused any lingering tension, the president's poll numbers continue to be not so funny. The latest today from CBS News shows approval of the health care law has sunk to 31%, a drop of 12 points in just 1 month. As for what should happen to the law, 43% said repeal it, while 48% say the law at least needs changes. The president, though, continues to resist legislative fixes, instead meeting today with state insurance commissioners to try and convince them to support his less far-reaching executive move to allow consumers to keep their plans for 1 year. White House economic aide Jason Furman defended the law by releasing a report today showing it has helped slow the growth of health care spending since its 2010 enactment, as Republicans fired back at the president's claim that the GOP is partly to blame for the recent problems.
It's nobody's fault on the Republican side that the exchange website isn't working. It's nobody's fault on the Republican side that millions of people are in fear of losing their existing coverage.
Now, on the question of whether there was any fear, as mentioned in that email, a top White House official just told me that even before the site was rolled out, they warned that there might be glitches, just as there are in any rollout. And in this case, it appears that what the officials were referring to inside the administration was the possibility of high traffic on healthcare.gov. That proved to be true. This top White House official notes to me that is a sign to them inside the White House tonight that there's high demand for this product. They still want to get it fixed, and they still think it's going to be turned around. Brett?
But Ed, of course, the question is, if they knew there were numbers that were going to be big on the first weeks and the website wasn't working, why did it roll out?
That is still the outstanding question. Now, we have to be clear that from this email, it only suggests that one person, Todd Park, suggested there was this fear inside the White House. We don't know if others shared that fear. We also don't know whether Henry Chow over at the CMS agency was exaggerating that quote-unquote fear that Todd Park had. But you're certainly right. If you listen to the president's comments last week, he suggested that this big problem was a surprise to them inside the White House, number one, and number two, that he would not have gone forward if he knew it. This email raises more questions about that, Brett.
Okay. Ed Henry live on the North Lawn. Ed, thank you. The numbers are staggering. New details tonight on just how many of you could lose your health care coverage because of Obamacare. Here's Chief Congressional Correspondent Mike Emanuel.
The next wave of Obamacare cancellations and premium spikes will likely be small businesses. One analysis predicts 2/3 of small businesses will have their policies canceled, likely forcing their employees on Obamacare exchanges. Today, several CEOs told a Senate panel they're already dealing with health care headaches.
I was shocked when our health insurance went up 49% this year. The plan I purchased includes benefits I don't really need, nor do my employees want.
Another said because his company's policy only offers coverage for generic drugs, it doesn't meet the Obamacare standard and is being discontinued.
Due to this one change, our premiums are now scheduled to increase by 52.3% in January 2014. Clearly absorbing this expense in order to continue to provide the same benefit to my employees is entirely unrealistic.
A Republican senator blasted the Obama administration for political deception.
We were promised that the health care law would actually decrease costs, but all the added costs, all the added coverages, all the added mandates have increased costs, correct?
Though a health care official here in Washington says there are options.
They offer 267 different products to small businesses, something for everyone. If you want zero deductible plan, it's there. If you want an HSA high deductible health plan, it's there, and everything in between at all price points.
A New Jersey Democrat says his focus is on trying to help smaller firms compete with big business and repairing the law.
I care about solving the problems. And when you look at polls, they might not like politicians, but most people are saying right now, fix the dagnam thing.
The American Enterprise Institute estimates up to 100 million business policies may be canceled next year, but the true impact will likely be on the little guy.
I think it'll be a surprise, especially for sort of smaller, younger, entrepreneurial firms who often have healthier employees than the mean, because they'll be faced with higher premiums on the new small business exchanges.
Louisiana Republican Congressman Bill Cassidy has proposed a bill allowing insurance currently available on the group market to continue being offered. Cassidy's thought is if employees like their current plans, they should be able to keep them. Brett?
Mike Emanuel live on the Hill tonight. Mike, thank you. Young people, college students, may pay an especially high price for their support of President Obama. Correspondent Peter Ducey reports tonight from Bowie State University in Maryland, where Obamacare may mean no health care at all.
DeJuan Patterson is a 25-year-old grad student at Bowie State University and was covered until recently by a university-provided insurance policy for about $100 a year. But that plan didn't meet the standards set by the Affordable Care Act, and since its replacement would have cost nearly $1,800 a year, the school canceled it.
It makes me feel angry, frustrated, really deeply frustrated.
Bowie State says students should join their parents' plans or enroll through Maryland's state-run exchange or Medicaid. DeJuan says if the price of his insurance increases, he won't be able to pay all his bills. Since it's expensive,
I'm not here privileged or anything like that, so I have to pick and choose what I will pay for and what's priority and what's not priority.
One student blogged, quote, "This is one sure way to make sure those invincible millennials are on the exchanges to make sure the cost of the ACA is balanced out."
I think students are caught in the trap. They're now stuck trying to figure out how they're going to either find coverage, be covered, or deal with the sickness if it was to arise.
But not everyone who lost the university-provided plan is worried. Jamad Gould plans to enter the exchange.
It would definitely be equivalent to the plan that I was previously on. I think the university made the right decision.
The university says they surveyed students last spring, and the feedback favored ditching the $1,800 a year plan, adding, quote, "Cost-conscious in their choices, students realized that provisions of the new healthcare law enable many of them to avoid any additional costs, as they can now be covered by their parents' health plans up to age 26. But that is little comfort for DeJuan Patterson.
Now I'm actually thinking about please don't get sick or anything like that because I might not have any coverage for it.
Only about 7% of college students in this country buy plans like the one Bowie State just canceled. Most are on their parents' policies, including many students here at Bowie State, where administrators say officials from the Maryland State Exchange and Medicaid will soon visit to help affected students sign up. Brett?
Peter Ducey live at Bowie State. Peter, thank you. So do you have a question about Obamacare for the All-Star panel tonight? Tweet me at Brett Baer. You can use the hashtag #TweetThePanel. and your question could be asked a bit later. Stocks were down today for the second straight day. The Dow dropped 66. The S&P 500 lost 6.5. The Nasdaq fell 10. Up next, a political scandal that apparently is too good or bad to be true. But here's what some of our Fox affiliates across the country are covering tonight. Fox 11 in Los Angeles with Operation Supernova, a year-long drug trafficking investigation that has led to the arrest of several suspected members of the Mexican mob in Ventura County. Fox 46 in Charlotte, North Carolina with news. Billy Graham is back in the hospital tonight. The 95-year-old evangelist has a respiratory congestion issue. He has been hospitalized in the past for similar health concerns. And this is a live look at St. Louis from KTVI. The big story there tonight is the execution of serial killer Joseph Paul Franklin. The 63-year-old white supremacist targeted blacks and Jews in a cross-country killing spree from 1977 to 1980. He's the first person to be put to death in that state in nearly 3 years. That's a live look outside the Beltway from Special Report. We'll be right back.